anything. We feel that anything can be gamified, any TV content. That is the new world. Everything is immediate and you put it out there. Just look at X and all these platforms that have got this kind of immediacy and this risk attached.
Kim Kardashian. Everyone is predicting that it was just someone like her just needed to do it, needed to show people how it works, and now it's going to take off.
At a party, walk into the living room, immediately it feels chaotic. You don't know who's there, what they're talking about. It's the same as that.
Welcome back to Decode Sessions, your #1 marketing podcast for brands and consumers alike. It's a straight talking show and expect to leave with a couple of insights that you didn't have before. And if you didn't, as always, let us know. And if you did, remember to subscribe to the show. This is the show where we decode things in a way so it's understandable for everyone. And today we are decoding something that at least has not been understandable to me up until hopefully today. I'm talking about live streaming, but I'm not talking about live streaming music or live streaming TV shows on Netflix. I'm talking about live streaming people hanging out. I'm talking about Twitch, and I'm talking about the latest invention in this space called Gaggle. With us today, we've got Adam Harris, formerly Twitch. Today he runs Gaggle, and he will tell us about a world which I thought was just for esports and gaming, where you're effectively watching people play video games. It's not anymore, and this is where all youth, and actually up to my age, are spending their time and will be spending their time in the future. So stay tuned for a mind-blowing episode that definitely opened my eyes to the future of where marketing needs to go. Thank you so much for joining us. Please explain, what is this?
So yes, I worked at Twitch for 8 years, firstly, and Twitch is a live streaming platform owned by Amazon. It is very similar to like Instagram Live, YouTube Live, but the big difference with it is it's participatory. So the community, the viewers are as much a part of the experience as the creator who is hosting that live stream experience. Think of it like a digital living room. It's the creator are the host, and they are inviting their community to sit around, chat with them, be part of that community experience, all through digital though. So it's all live streamed. So interactive, playful, community-based content where the viewers are a part and the creator is the host and the community leader.
And this, am I right in thinking that this started in the gaming space? So it was a gamer playing a video game and people were watching this and participating.
Well, it actually started around the time of reality TV in about 2011, and it was called Justin TV before it became Twitch. So Justin TV, the concept of it was very much like what has become IRL streaming today. So in real life streaming, people just going around and documenting their life. And it was a guy called Justin, so hence Justin TV. It was before mobile, kind of like the ability to record on your phone, and the technology had advanced. So they used to have this massive backpack with a computer on it, and they would film this guy Justin walk around San Francisco and essentially go to coffee shops, and it was pretty boring. But what they realized was they built this technology that meant that they could broadcast other things. And what started to get popularity was gaming, because gamers are ahead of the technological curve. Mm-hmm. They are early adopters. And what they realized was there was no real community anymore for gamers, that the arcades didn't exist, which is where gamers used to collect and come together. Gaming moved into the living room with Nintendo and Sony, and therefore gamers didn't have really a community base, and they found what was Justin TV and started basically filming themselves play video games. And then they started to build an audience because other people liked watching other people play video games. In the same way at an arcade, there used to be a crowd of people around a machine and seeing people do it. Yeah. So that's why it started with as reality TV, but then moved into gaming because that was where the demand was. And then they changed the name to Twitch, which is a gaming reference. It's a reaction. Got
it. But it's moved moved on from gaming now. It can be anything, right? It can be live music, it can be live shopping.
It's everything. Anything that anyone has a passion about, is you will find a channel about that on Twitch now. So the likes of like music became really big. Everything became really big during the pandemic as people realized that kind of we still need that human connection, but we couldn't necessarily do it in a physical space, and then digital was the next best alternative. So lots of musicians came on. Now you've got the likes of Justin Bieber and various other kind of musicians who stream live to the audience, so it gives them a direct connection.
So he's just launched a channel.
He's just launched a channel, yeah.
And what does he do on there? Like, what does this look like? Explain this to my 7-year-old who is not supposed to go on there, but my 70-year-old mum, she can go and have a look. Explain it to her.
Yeah, so it's the same concept as kind of any other social media. It provides an insight into somebody's life, what they do on a day-to-day basis, and how they choose to present that. So with him, it provides an insight into his recording process. So he does a lot of recording and kind of and rehearsal.
Behind the scenes content, as we call it, yeah.
But also, so he performed, like he was rehearsing for a gig that was coming up, and but also his friends will hang out, so you get to see a bit of the kind of the crew that he has around them as well,
and hear what they talk about.
And yeah, it's just they like it because it feels a far more authentic. Live can't be planned; it's spontaneous. It's a bit more authentic, as we like to say in media terms, in that you can't. It's very hard to be a persona or a character in a live space and keep that up, because live streams are typically anywhere from an hour to 7 hours long. So very hard to be kind of constantly putting on a persona and a character, and therefore it feels far more attainable to younger audiences. It feels like you're getting a real insight into reality of kind of these people's daily lives.
Okay, so when you say that it's harder, it doesn't mean that it's just a certain character that can do it. It means that it's, instead of sort of being in character, it's really just about, it's like putting a camera into your living room and just existing. Just existing,
yeah. And for those that host the channel, so the creators, it's hard because live streaming is hard. It's a job. So they have to treat it as a job. Most of them do it for 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. And it's still performing. You still have to be in front of the camera, but it's very hard to hide behind anything other than who you really are for that 7 hour period during the day. So it gives a sense of a far more authentic live experience that you're having with this person than often Instagram or TikTok, where it feels like a bit more of a curated digital persona, a perception you're putting out to the world that all younger people now understand may not be the real thing that you're seeing. You're seeing a curated image that is being presented to you.
So I just returned yesterday from the Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi, where I was with a lot of people from Live Nation and people that work directly with Bieber. And what I'm immediately thinking is that, how does this work with their management? Anything could go wrong on a live stream for hours. I mean, there's one word said that shouldn't be said, and then what?
Well, that is the new world, and everything is immediate, and you put it out there. Just look at X and all these platforms that have got this kind of immediacy and this risk attached. And we found this when I was at Twitch. I worked with a lot of brands, and brands in particular, especially kind of premium brands, who want to curate a certain look and not necessarily have the audience play around and mess around with their assets.
It's their worst nightmare.
But they're increasingly realizing that this younger audience, they expect that. They expect it to be live, and they expect to have a say in what's going on, because they've grown up with that. Every platform they use is interactive now. A lot of them spend their time in these digital worlds such as Roblox and Fortnite, where they get to interact with their friends in real time. Things are put out there, and it all happens kind of unplanned. And so that's the world that they live in, and brands and stars are starting to adapt to that and realize, actually, this is a new way of speaking to an audience. Yes, we have to be careful, but it's live, and actually a lot of things just go live and then disappear like that. It's not as worrisome as a lot of people think it might be.
So it actually, because it's live, it doesn't have a digital footprint.
Well,
it just goes away unless someone has filmed it.
Unless someone has clipped it and filmed it. And those things that really do deserve scrutiny do get called up. But
we're not talking TV where someone has put in their VHS tape and recorded it.
Yeah.
Unless they've... Okay, I'm with you now. So maybe Justin Bieber's manager doesn't need to be as worried about Twitch as he might be about Instagram and other social media platforms where things can actually get posted in the middle of the night with no one seeing it, and before you know it, it's been up for 6 hours and it was not the thing that was supposed to be up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. So my next question was going to be, who are these people? Who are these creators? Because I think before you and I started chatting, and which is why I wanted you here today to really educate me, I thought this was mainly in the gaming space, and it was mainly influencer names that I've never heard of before. But we're mentioning Bieber now, which makes me think that maybe traditionally the creators have been names that I'm not that familiar with, but we're going to start seeing pretty much anyone on there.
100. Well, the biggest name in the country at the moment, Angry Ginge.
Which is someone I'm not familiar with.
Again, I'm not really either, and I don't watch I'm a Celebrity. However, he is a Twitch streamer, and he's just won King of the Jungle, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So he's broken into the mainstream. This is a internet personality who's specifically a Twitch streamer and started really with gaming.
Yeah.
But is now getting mass appeal, mainstream appeal, moving into a traditional TV format.
Yeah. And then so who are the users? So what sort of age category are we talking? Male, female, across the world?
Yeah, so predominantly it's always been predominantly male.
Yeah.
But especially in the early days, the demographic switch has really kind of accelerated in the last few years, in that now it's about 65% male. So, but previously it was in the 80s. So it is what you call evening out as time goes on, as people realise that this isn't a kind of boy in the basement playing video game culture, and actually everyone is a gamer pretty much. If you play Wordle, you're a gamer. We've grown up with everything being gamified, from buying coffee in Starbucks and therefore, as gaming has become more mainstream, and bearing in mind gaming is bigger than music and movies combined as a entertainment industry, the popularity of platforms like Twitch, which maybe start in gaming but kind of then have emerged into other genres, are becoming more popular. Yeah,
okay, I'm with you. So I've watched it a little bit. I mean, you've shown me some examples, and it feels very chaotic to my 40-year-old brain. Is it meant for me?
So there's a couple of things there. Firstly, it is chaotic. And if you've watched, say, your daughter, if she plays Roblox or whatever, looking at that is chaotic as well. So it's built for, firstly, younger audiences who are used to being in these real-time interactive environments. They've grown up in them, they're used to them. So it becomes it's a lot more natural to them. However, what I would say is, going back to the living room analogy, if you walked into anyone's living room at a party, if there's a party and you've been invited and you walk into the living room, immediately it feels chaotic. You don't know who's there, what they're talking about, and it takes a little while it's the same as that. So yes, it is, that it's got its own language and every community is slightly different. However, it is really no different to being in a living room. And once you're there for a little while, you start to understand what's going on and how the creator is looking at what is called chat. So that's the audience reacting in real time, so they can put in comments. They can decide things, they get to influence what the creator does next or what happens. So you start to, when you're in that space, you start to get more of a feel for what is going on. But it is targeted at below the age of 40. It's 18 to 40 is kind of the key audience of Twitch.
Okay, I'm with you. And I love that analogy, by the way, that it's like walking into a party and you have to adjust to it. Yeah. You can't just throw yourself into a new environment and think you're going to get it. So that gives me hope. And And just to explain to those who are listening who haven't seen this before, it's a you're watching this live on a screen, and then, as you said, there's effectively like a feed on the side of people commenting. So it's a little bit like those who have seen like Instagram Live.
Very much like that.
It looks the same.
Yes. It's in terms of why people may choose to do that versus kind of Instagram Live is, firstly, it's far more interactive. So there's more interactive options for the creator to speak with their community. So it creates that social connection a little bit better than some of the other platforms. And the live monetization for those creators, the ability to earn while doing it, there's more tools in the live space on Twitch than there are on other platforms. So that is why people would decide maybe to stream on Twitch and be a host on Twitch rather than maybe TikTok Live, which is growing and will probably overtake it at some point. But that is why at the moment creators are choosing Twitch.
Can we stay on this for a minute? You say there are more opportunities for them. So I come from an IG Live. I know what that looks like. It's basically someone putting in a comment and the creator can respond to it. So if we start with that, you say there are more opportunities for them to communicate. How?
And interact. So, I've set my whole business up based on the fact that this technology exists. So we've got a company called Gaggle, which allows creators to host TV programs live on Twitch, but we've made them interactive. So whereas previously, for example, a game show is a good example, we've taken the Price is Right. If on TV, you could just shout at the screen and try and get, like you say, no, the answer, that fridge is worth that amount of money. We can now set up interactivity that allows the viewers at home to actually put in what they think the amount is. It aggregates the total average value that people think. The creator then could call out the individual viewer going, you got it spot on, well done. So it's got that heightened kind of, it bridges the gap between that viewer and the screen and that shout at the screen behavior. So that's one interactivity. There's commerce, for example, live commerce, which is a big thing in China, big thing on TikTok. TikTok made me buy it. The commerce options within live streaming and on Twitch are significant. The ability to buy immediately straight through the platform. A creator says, look, I'm trying on this makeup, I'm doing this. If you use my code now, like immediately now, you get X% off or you get a free gift with it. So there's that immediacy of interactivity that you get on this platform that you don't get anywhere else at the moment, because you can build the tools on top of it.
It's interesting that you mentioned commerce, because I mean, live shopping has been a hot topic in the fashion world for a few years. Or it was a hot topic, I would say, maybe 5 or so years ago, and then it kind of went away a little bit, but it came back with a vengeance over the weekend with Skims and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And now everyone is predicting that it was just someone like her just needed to do it, needed to show people how it works, and now it's going to take off.
Oh yeah, well, you only have to look at kind of, a lot of these things have success in Asia. So you asked me previously, where is this? Where is Twitch big? Twitch is big in the US because it started in the US, but its other biggest markets are in Asia, where they are technologically more kind of receptive. The penetration of kind of smartphones and things is higher, and so it's taken a little bit of time to move over here, but that essentially behaviors that start over there often make their way here. It just takes, as you say, that one person or a few things to kind of come together to make people realize, actually, that's how we do it here.
I mean, she obviously set the bar really high with like super high production value, and it doesn't have to be done that way, right?
Yeah.
But I guess she's showing to those luxury players out there as well that if they want to do it that way, they can. But there's of course also scrappier way of doing it. So it's growing. Are there any stats you can share that are going to scare me? Because I'm scared of everything new, even though I work with it.
Not scare you. I think there's a few interesting things that have happened around Twitch. So firstly, the pandemic was a huge kind of accelerator. If you think about how we became so kind of at ease with video calls during the pandemic, whereas previously it was a little bit kind of, you'd get in a room in an office and everyone, and then that barrier came down, being able to see into other people's like living rooms or bedrooms and stuff, that barrier came down. So it's made what was look quite scary and weird of I'm watching other people play video games or doing something else in their bedroom. That feels a bit strange. That changed with the pandemic, and Twitch's hours have grown significantly. A few indicators of the growth are there's a streamer called Kai Cenat, he's probably the most well-known streamer in the world, Twitch streamer. He did a thing called Mafiathon where he had 1 million people subscribe to his channel, so pay money to subscribe to just one individual and one individual channel. So it's the most subscribed channel kind of in Twitch history. He had people like Ed Sheeran come on his stream during his month-long Mafiathon. He had Kim Kardashian, he had Selena Gomez. Like, this is crossing over into cultural mainstream quite considerably. So that's one indication of growth, is him. Another streamer in Spain called Ibai. So he holds the record for the most amount of viewership on a single stream on his channel. That was 9 million. Now, if you think that Traitors got 13 million and one individual's getting 9 million for his channel and one event that they're putting on.
This is just one event, so we're talking
one
a few
event,
hours.
one day, 9 million for a few hours.
And Traitors get 13 million for however many episodes over.
Yeah, I think the 30 million might have been the finale.
The finale,
but
so it's
still,
on one episode.
Yeah, in comparison-wise, you can start to see that the levels aren't too dissimilar at the top end.
Because I mean, if we can stay on numbers for a minute, the dwell time is also really high. I mean, you said that a stream can go on for 7 hours, but am I right in thinking that the kind of average view time is 1 to 3 hours, which means that it's really, you're getting people, they're at high attention, and it's also high loyalty, which is like, I mean, this is like gold dust to a brand.
It's high attention, so people are also, it's creators that they follow, so they have got an affinity. It's creators they trust, so it's high trust, as you say, loyalty and trust. The final thing is high engagement. So because the platforms are built to be engaged with, all the platforms are, but specifically Twitch, it's a two-way communication. It's two-way TV, effectively. So you've got that high engagement plus that high dwell time plus that trust. I see that as quite a powerful kind of combination in a media space, which is why it interests me.
And me too, even if it scares me too. And I'll come to why it scares me. And this stuff always scares me because of the 7-year-old I have at home. If it wasn't for her, I would have been much more open-minded. But we'll come back to that. Huge opportunity for brands. Is it expensive?
It doesn't have to be. The biggest thing to overcome from a brand perspective is what you were talking about before, is that fear. That this is creators, it's live, it's interactive, it's participatory. Brands have to get comfortable with that, but you can start with a creator stream and pay, sponsor one creator, and it could be a couple of $100.
Yeah, we're talking, that's like, it's the world that I come from. It's traditional influencer marketing. It's just an influencer on a different platform, and you pay them for a collaboration, basically.
Exactly. So you start with that all the way up to, and there's great brands who've had a lot of success built using what we call a kind of crawl, walk, run kind of structure, where they
crawl, walk, run.
So crawl, walk,
baby crawl,
walk,
baby crawl, and then you run.
And then run. So Pringles did this brilliantly. The first time they entered the space, kind of this gaming space and this Twitch space, they did traditional creator influencer sponsorships. So they had something on a pack of Pringles, I don't know, win an Xbox or whatever it was, and they got the creators to promote it. So that was a very kind of cruel approach. That's a very easy first step in. Next thing they did was they sponsored a gaming event and put on a big gaming event. There was like a 100-seater sofa. And everyone played Fortnite, and it was a big elimination kind of gamified thing.
So they hosted the actual event and streamed it.
Yeah, had a bit more confidence to get into that. The final thing they did, which is the run approach, is they broke a character out of a video game and into the real world and into creator streams and took over their Twitter channels. And they really went with the fact that this audience are very playful. They love the interactivity. They like it when brands embrace the space and do something unique and different and aren't afraid.
Yeah.
And so that was their run aspect, where they felt so confident in what they were doing now and doing it all in the right way that they could spend many millions doing things like that. So that's
but
the kind
it always comes back to the same thing, which is something that, again, like we understand, it comes back to an influencer collaboration.
Yes.
That's all it is.
These are the new distribution channels, the creators. They have got loyal communities who follow them, and it's tapping into that in the same way you would do on any other social platform.
Yeah, and if we go back to Justin Bieber, then, so he's we obviously know that he's an artist and a musician, and he's also, you know, recently launched his brand Skylark, and there was a big activation for that in Tokyo over the weekend. Let's use him as an example then, again, from the brand perspective. So with his new Twitch channel, he could then, I guess, be offering behind the scenes moments into the world of Skylark as well.
Yeah, he could use his
product development, and which
I assume is why they launched the channel, that he sees it as another kind of element in his armory of promotion and an exposure that he can utilize, that gives him a little bit more flexibility, because he can then, rather than being restricted by his brand managers and this, he can put himself out there and feel more himself in front of kind of his friends. So that then sets up the opportunity for his brand activations or his wife's brand activations, or it's just a new means of reaching this young audience who are increasingly in these spaces, and not just on Twitch. These community environments amongst the 16 to say 35-year-olds are growing at a rapid rate. You look at Discord is another platform which is community driven. Also,
don't hear much about Discord anymore. It felt like it was a hot topic during the whole metaverse conversation, which I feel has kind of it's died down. The hype around it has died down a little bit, hasn't it? And now it's gone back it's back where it started. It's back in gaming.
It's back again, but there are a lot of brands now, kind of mid-journey, launched on Discord. So, like, in terms of AI, so it will come back. It's finding where it sits within the media ecosystem. We launched our business on it because we knew that's where all the creators are. You can't get hold of creators easily on any other system, WhatsApp, or they don't respond to you. They're all on Discord. That's a kind of.
I think that's your creators more than our.
Yeah, live creators.
But it might change.
Yeah, live creators are all on Discord. So lots of different companies and brands and organizations are setting up Discord because it creates the perfect environment, again, for interactive mini communities, for allow them to do stuff. Reddit's another place where people are going for that community experience. Someone has a thought, other people respond, and yes, it can be chaotic, but it's another community-based platform that is very hot amongst kind of the younger audiences. Same with Roblox, same with Fortnite, these collective real-time kind of places. There's a new game called Ark Raiders, that it's digital playgrounds. Play has always been a thing ever since, like, as soon as babies are born, they've got that instinct, they know how to play. Same with animals. So play and these playgrounds have just evolved into digital forms where they attract that youngest demographic, and we then jump on afterwards once we see kind of as older people within the media landscape, we start to learn it a bit later than they do.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've spent a lot of time talking about Twitch, and you've got your own business now, as you mentioned. You work with something called Gaggle, and am I right in thinking that you blow life into to sort of old TV formats?
Yeah, so it was based on my time at Twitch and spotting a gap or a white space that we felt was there. And essentially what we do is create a hosted television. It's Gogglebox. Think of it like that, go back to the living room.
And Gogglebox, for those who are listening to this and are not based in the UK, it's and I'm looking at Nicola because he's only been in the UK for about a year. Gogglebox is basically a TV show which is very popular here, where you watch other people watch TV.
Yes,
right
in their living rooms.
Yeah,
and there's different
comment on it,
and comment on it, and they all comment on it, and it's taking that behaviour that everyone has, shout at the TV, comment while you're watching it, but it makes it possible now that you can literally affect and shout at the TV. So the way we do it is the creators will host TV shows. We've got everything from Taskmaster to game shows that we've licensed the content. The creators are the distribution now, so they will host that on their channel. So if you think of a creator, they could have a living room of 3 people up to 9 million people. So it becomes a network of living rooms all watching TV with their favorite creator and reacting to it and having a two-way experience around TV content. a lot of TV content that is actually gathering dust. So we're bringing it back to life in a brand new way for a brand new audience.
So let's use White Lotus as an example. I mean, it's obviously not gathering dust just yet, but it might be in 10 years' time. What could that look like?
So probably chose those examples. I haven't watched it yet. I'm a big TV fan. So let's do, say...
Sex and the City.
Sex and the City is a great example. So Sex and the City, firstly, nostalgia is huge amongst this the younger age group, especially around the 2000s. So it would be, like, in terms of the sweet spot of shows, that would be right up there because you've got that kind of that nostalgic aspect. You've also got a huge amount of fandom around it and lore and kind of, and I missed Big versus, I can't remember who the other... Aiden. Mm-hmm. So you
Carrie's
could have,
Love Life.
You could have interactive polls. Who are you with on this? Mr. Big, are you Team Big or Team Aiden? What do you guess the price of that handbag when it was in 2001? How much was that? I'm not into handbags, Gucci handbags.
Yeah, but I'm getting it. So it's basically, I mean, I've been a Sex and the City fan since it launched, and it's always been a topic of conversation at my girls' dinners.
Yes.
But I have to wait until that girls' dinner, and I've probably forgotten half of what I watched.
Yes.
So, but now I could basically talk to someone in real time and
bring it back and have have that kind of living room experience with people digitally, but you're all watching it together. You could all be guessing. Do you know what happens next, or who says this next line? So we feel that anything can be gamified. Any TV content can have that element of playfulness with it, especially when hosted by a creator who knows their community best. So they can watch it, they can call out things, and not only call out things on the show, but call out the viewers as well. Yeah. So you're watching something, and the TV is talking back to you. And you're watching a show that you love with other people or you haven't even heard of before, but you're learning about it with your favorite creator, and you're in a living room space. Yeah.
And I can immediately see like the opportunities for the brands that are featured on the show. But let's make it a little bit more complicated. For a fashion brand then, that might not be necessarily featured on the show, but what's the partnering opportunity there between you and let's pretend that Prada was never on Sex and the City.
Yeah.
But how do we pitch this to Prada?
So this is off the top of my head. So
yes,
that's the way.
That's what we always do here. We always come up with stuff, and sometimes we're like, fuck, we need to take that to a brand. That's really good. So maybe we get there today, or maybe we're like, maybe not quite ready for this yet.
Yeah. So if I was going to do this kind of like right now, it would be something like... look at Prada's key audience. I imagine it'll probably be kind of female skewed.
And it's a high net worth luxury audience.
And Sex and the City is female skewed. So the first thing is, can you create a moment? Could we call it Sex and the City Sundays, for example? Yeah. Brought to you by Prada. So Prada would fund and basically fund the fun, we call it. They would allow us to be able to go get Sex and the City and give it to the creator. So immediately that generates brand love for Prada. Prada are making this happen. They're enabling us to have the legal right to be able to watch this top show with our community. So that's the first level.
Traditional sponsorship.
And then once you've got that kind of moment, the Sex and the City Sundays, then you choose your creators who maybe we want to partner with to have them watch it, who represent the brand correctly. So there's many kind of top female streamers who are all very into kind of high fashion.
And they'd be wearing it. And
they could be wearing it.
Talking about their outfits.
And watching the show. And they could be the Sex and the City collective that watch it every Sunday and with their communities. Yeah. And then you build things into the show that can become interactive, such as guess the price of this, or they will buy something at a handbag store or whatever, or a clothing store. Then there's, we take out the traditional ad breaks and we could put in branded interactive ad breaks. So it could be
live shopping.
It could be live shopping. You could go purchase immediately. Lots of different ways you could activate that within the show. So you go down that, pick a moment, get the creators, build your activation that brings this to life and gives Prada a reason to be there, to be spoken about by these really influential people around really spot on content.
I'm starting to get really excited now, but I do have there's one last fear that you have to that you have to hopefully put my mind at ease to, and that's going to be sort of my closing question for you. So I hear you and I understand it, and we live in a new world. But when I was a teenager, I used to hang out in front of MTV, watch it with my friends after school. So is this coming together and hanging out physically together, is this dead? Because to me, what you're describing feels quite, I know that you are describing a community, but it's a community behind a screen. So it feels quite solitary and therefore a little bit sad. Is this our new reality?
I don't think it's dead. I think it's moved to a different location. I think the human need to be together is there, and it still happens around certain events. So sports are still that live moment where you want to come together and watch the thing.
Like I just did for the Formula One in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, nothing beats it.
And nothing beats it. However, with technology, with the fact that we've all got devices in our pockets that we can watch whatever we want, whenever we want, that linear TV moment, it has kind of evolved. So the moment itself doesn't exist as much as it did previously. If you think like previous Christmases when we were growing up, and Only Fools and Horses, Christmas special, and everyone gathered around the TV, and 25 million people in the UK watched it.
In Sweden, it's Donald Duck at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I wonder for much longer he'll survive.
Yeah, exactly. So, technology has meant that it has fractured that ability to have that collective experience, but it has also meant that it's solved it for that human need to be together.
It's created more opportunities, if I hear you right.
So I believe it has.
Maybe we could flip it and argue that you're actually bringing you're the devil. You're actually bringing people together more often than we were able to in the past when we were just watching MTV.
We believe so at a greater scale. And yes, you'll never have like in person. And firstly, it's things together are always better. Doing like if you go to a live gig, go to a live sport event like the Grand Prix, it's always better to do things with other human beings. What we realized in COVID was actually digital can not replace that, but has a place in that world where it can connect us, especially in times where we feel we really need that connection. The digital sphere has got that ability to pull us together. Yes, it can be isolating, but also it has democratized that ability. Anyone from anywhere in the world can now watch TV together, can now play video games together, can now do whatever they want to do together. Whereas previously it was just your friends down the street coming together into one living room. So yes, the in-person thing has changed, but the location, the living room still exists. The living room behavior still exists. It's just in many other places
with
now.
A global mindset.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm with you, and thank you so much. I've learned so much today. I'm less scared of this and not against it at all. I'm excited, and let's take this fashion. Let's create this fashion moment.
Let's do it. Sex and the City Sundays.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Great.
Adam. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in yet again. Remember to subscribe if you want to keep hearing great content from us, and follow us on social at Decode Sessions. Until next time, thank you so much.